Hey guys, Sedge here. So, it's been a while. And this video, as you may have guessed, is slightly different to my normal videos because it's a speed paint and I'm not actually going to be talking about the speed paint. So all I'll say right now is this is my Genshin Impact OC Ares. If you would like to know more about her, let me know because I have a bajillion Genshin Impact OCs and I would love to talk about them in another speed paint or something. But this speed paint is me basically going over where the heck I've been for the past almost 9 months, maybe even nearly 10. I can't quite remember how long it's actually been. So basically, I'm just gonna go straight into this. So about Christmas time, I horrendously threw my back out, and at the same time I noticed something very strange happening with my throat. At the time I thought I'd just pulled a muscle in my throat. I've done that before. Because I do a lot of belting and I don't like to peek the microphone, I turn my face away and you know, in songs like Never Enough from Greatest Showman, there is so much belting in that I was constantly moving my head and yeah, I've had injuries like that before. But I kind of thought, okay, I can't stand up for long periods of time to record anyway because of my back, so I'll go on some vocal rest, which I did. And then when my back healed, I went back to singing and my voice was still doing weird things. Well, not my voice, my throat was still doing weird things. So I ended up going to the doctors. Luckily, I had a lot of kind of pre-recorded stuff and I just uploaded that in the meantime. But I soon ran out of pre-recorded stuff. But anyway, so I went to the doctors and they couldn't see anything wrong or kind of figure out what was going on. So they booked me in for an ultrasound on my neck, and the very next day, a lump appeared. Now, it was pretty prominent, pretty overnight, and that was terrifying. And there was still quite a while before the ultrasound, so this thing was growing quite rapidly, and I was starting to have trouble breathing. I couldn't get through a song more than once without feeling like I could not physically breathe. And it wasn't that I wasn't breathing, it was more like I wasn't getting enough oxygen as I was breathing, so I'd get horrendously out of breath. There were actually a few times when I'd come back from work and my mum would say, "Your lips are blue. I should call an ambulance." And I, being me and being British, was like, "No, mother, I am fine. I shall see this through." And yeah, so I was an idiot. And then by the time the ultrasound came along, they found a 5-centimeter nodule. Which, you know, is never a fun thing to hear. But as a singer, the word nodule is, you know, ultra terrifying. And so that they were really nice. The doctors, nurses that all kind of looked after me during that ultrasound were incredibly nice. And they basically said, yeah, you will probably have to have this removed, but we're going to book you in for a biopsy to make sure it's nothing to be worried about. And the biopsy took a while to happen, and this breathing was getting harder, and, you know, I couldn't sing. I lost out on a lot of money because, in case you didn't know, I used to work 2 day jobs and do YouTube on the side, and I'd only recently started making enough money at YouTube to quit one of the jobs that I absolutely hated. So I did, and then I couldn't sing for months and I missed out on a lot of money. So that was fun. Please like and subscribe. You know, I could really do with the ad revenue right now. Anyway, so the biopsy came around. All this time, me thinking, dear God, maybe I need to start thinking about writing a will in case this is something horrendous. And it was a very, very dark time, and a lot of stuff happened during that time. and a lot of things involving medications and everything that I'm not really going to go into right now. I'm fine now. I will say that. I am absolutely fine. I'm coping. Everything's good. But when I had the biopsy, what they don't tell you is that biopsies are really uncomfortable. So, like, it's not so bad, probably, if it's somewhere else on your body, but when it's in your neck, it's very uncomfortable, because I was under the assumption that they just put a kind of syringe thing in there and just sucked out something. But no, they scrape. They stick a needle in with like a little spoon thing on the end and scrape around. At least that's what I believe to be happening. And they had to do that 5 times in this one session so they could make sure that they had enough of everything they needed to see there. So that was fun. And again, the wonderful doctors and nurses that were doing my biopsy, they again were really reassuring and saying, oh yeah, when it's this size, you would usually have it removed anyway, regardless of what it is. So don't worry, it will probably just be removed. And then I had to go to an ear, nose and throat specialist to see if this guy could see anything else. And God, it was about a week before I had to go and see the specialist. But obviously I had heard nothing in the meantime about any results or anything, because it usually takes like about a week to get results. And so going into that specialist was, I've only really ever been terrified like 3 times in my life, and this was one of them. I was a wreck, and it was very obvious. Like, nurses and doctors that passed me in the corridor while I was waiting to go in could all see how nervous I was, and they were so sweet because they kept like asking me if I was okay, and all I could really say was, yeah, I'm fine. And oh God, I can only imagine what they thought I was going in to find out. But when I went in, the doctor, the specialist, gave me an endoscope down my nose, which again is so freaking uncomfortable. Like, if you have had a COVID test, like the kind of the swab on your tonsils and down your nose, if you've had that, imagine that, but like it keeps going down your nose. It is uncomfortable. And it made me gag, it made my eyes water, and it made my nose bleed. So that was fun. But the one shining light in all of this is due to that, I found out that I had very, very well-maintained vocal cords. Like, which, I have been singing since I was about 3 years old. I am now 31. So knowing that my vocal cords are in really good condition, that is the silver lining of all of this. I was so happy to hear that. But then I got the results back, and again, really good news. It was, fine, it was benign, there was nothing wrong. And so I was there saying, well, can I have it removed? And the doctor said, why don't we wait 6 months? And I was kind of in shock, because this thing was stopping me from being able to breathe. It was impacting my work. All of my work it was impacting. Like, I work as a cleaner, so I couldn't do my other job normally either, and I was in breakdown mode, and I couldn't kind of make a definitive decision right there and then, because I was all on my own, and this had just been thrown at me, and I'd gone in there thinking I was going to be told that I had cancer and that I was going to die, and then I'd found out that I was fine. There was just this big thing growing on my thyroid, and I did not know what to do. And so I said, can I go away and think about this? And the second I got back into the car, I broke down. I had a pretty bad panic attack, and it was just dreadful. Anyway, I think it was like the next day I phoned him up and I was saying that I wanted to have the surgery. And this specialist, I'm pretty sure he only did this because, you know, it was during the height of COVID and there probably wasn't enough space in the hospital for this sort of thing. Like, it wasn't a life-threatening thing to them. It wasn't something that was, you know, apparently wasn't impacting my life. So I didn't really need it, apparently. You know, bearing in mind that I also couldn't breathe and my lips would occasionally turn blue because I could not breathe. But anyway, this specialist decided to tell me that something that had like, well, obviously they went through like all of the side effects that could happen and kind of worst case scenarios, but he decided to tell me that something that had like a 1% chance of happening, he told me in a way that it was very, very likely to happen. Basically, this specialist told me that if I had this removed, there was a high possibility that I would have to live the rest of my life with a tube in my throat. And I wouldn't be able to sing, I wouldn't be able to talk, and all of that. So that was real fun to hear. And again, I had another panic attack and I could not physically speak. So my mother, bless her, she took the phone from me and basically made him agree that I needed the surgery. Which, yeah, finally. And then I finally had the surgery and everyone was so nice, so nice. The surgeon that I got to speak to, oh, he was a saint. And all of the nurses that looked after me that day, fantastic. And now I have a lovely big scar on my throat, but I am perfectly fine and I can sing again and it's wonderful. It took a while. It took like a good few months for me to get my voice fully back. Like, I think the first time I sang after coming out, I could not reach some of the notes that I could before, like physically could not reach them. And that was weird. But it's back now, and I'm going to be uploading some songs again soon. Hopefully there is a Halloween song coming. Hopefully, and that is the next upload I kind of have planned. So bear with me. And now that's all out of the way, I would like to take a little bit of time to talk about the stuff that is possibly going to happen on this channel. Still, there will be weekly uploads of songs from musical theatre, games, anime, all of that. Maybe the occasional Vocaloid, but I don't know about that. But as well as this, this is the bit I'm not sure will work yet, and I kind of need some feedback on, but I am planning to host a Minecraft server. And oh my god, it's gonna be chaotic. There is a good amount of people who are gonna be involved, who are all my friends and I love so much, and oh my god, they are so chaotic, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's going to be a chaotic server in general. Lots of war possibilities. It's going to be a roleplay server, so expect characters, you know, like a highly characterized version of ourselves, I should say, and story arcs and everything like that, and it's very exciting. As well as this, I intend to do some speed paints and maybe some animatics. I don't know yet. But basically, this channel is gonna grow in content, hopefully. There is also a D&D campaign that I may be DMing coming soon, hopefully. But yeah, enough of that. I have talked to you for long enough now, and yeah, so that's the video. I thank you for listening. If you listened this far, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, yeah. Bye!